I think there's a great honor in being a hater. I think that's what, but also because I think when you hate something, it actually means you really love something else.
That's true.
Yeah.
A better version of it.
Yeah.
I feel like hate has been such like a, people are like, stop hate. Like, I don't know. I don't agree completely.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this, as you might understand. So, all right. It really traces back to the concept of the player hater, right?
Yeah.
And who came up with the concept of the player hater? One Sean Diddy Combs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we actually all know the nefarious things that Puffy has been up to for 20, 30, 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And like just a litany of bad things. So, right, maybe Puffy came up with the idea of the player hater to deflect from his own shortcomings and the evil things that he was perpetuating.
That he was doing.
Yep.
Because he
people
was,
felt like he was weird. So he like, nah, y'all just player hating.
y'all player hating.
Yep.
What I'm doing. Y'all don't understand it. Player haters.
Yeah.
Yep.
So actually, I think actually it proves that Suge Knight was right after all, and the West Coast has won again.
He was.
Yeah. It turns out,
for real.
No, that is one of my favorite things, though, is like if you go around LA long enough, as you guys know, someone will always be like, actually, Suge Knight's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
I've heard it too.
My dad would tell me that all the time, no joke. He would like see him at the Four Seasons, and he's like, Suge Knight? I was like, Dad, what? And he's like, he's a real gentleman. He'd be like,
Comes from a good family.
Right.
Does he?
Yeah.
Did Suge Knight? Yeah.
Yeah, it comes from a good family in Compton. It's like, that was like still when Compton was like middle class and like, like he went to college. He had like a good education.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Almost made the NFL. I think he might have made it like a practice squad.
He
to
did.
the
Yeah,
NFL.
he was on the Rams for a couple years.
Yeah. Suge Knight.
Is he got
I don't
life?
know. I don't know if you should free him or not.
No.
But like, I like the concept of Suge Knight, like in general. Like, he did a lot of bad things, but also like did a lot of good things too.
Right. What is his like current charges as we speak of what he went to jail for?
That was for running over
a guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy who used to be his friend.
And getting caught? But did he die?
He was on the set.
He did die.
He did die.
Okay,
he was
rest
on the
in
set of
peace.
actually Straight Outta Compton. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah, it was
about,
at the
like,
Tams.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So would they give him for that? Life?
Not life, but like 20,
He took a
30
plea- he
years
took a plea
or
deal.
something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually just seen that he lost a settlement for like 1.5 million.
I actually think Suge Knight has a podcast.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't hate all podcasts.
True.
Yeah.
And I like that Suge Knight and Cat Williams are very good friends.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's
something that just-
they're great. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
I think so much about the Source Awards where he was like,
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
It was the subtle shade so like early in the game before shade was a thing.
Yeah.
Niggas was taking shots early. That wasn't even a thing like that to get on
No.
public camera and just start dissing niggas.
there was no
it wasn't a thing
Instagram
like how it
then.
is
At
now.
an award show.
At an award show was
in
so
New York.
ghetto, and I loved it. And I
Yeah,
watched it live as a kid. Because what did he say it at the BET Awards?
no, it was the Source Awards.
Source Awards.
See, that's when Source used to be on TV. But you know why they stopped Source, y'all? Because all them damn fights and all them shootings of the East Coast versus the West Coast.
Yeah.
That's why they stopped it.
Really what pushed it over the top was Young Buck stabbing somebody with a butter knife.
Which is a terrible thing
That's
to
a
stab.
terrible
That's
thing
like the
to
problem
do.
with Young Buck. Because like on some level, it's like
He like, I couldn't bring the thing in, so I went to the closest thing.
you couldn't get a steak knife.
He got a butter knife to defend Dr. Dre. It's hilarious. All these stories sound so made up, but like they're 100% real. I love that.
Yeah. He wasn't even from the West Coast. He was from Nashville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved him. You know, when I was a kid, y'all, fun fact, I used to love Let Me In by him. When I heard that, I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, it was a different type of rap. Also, too, I really thought Nashville, like I didn't resonate it to Cashville. So when he's like, he's from Cashville, I'm like, oh, he from Cashville. My sister was like, fool, it's Nashville.
What did you think like Cashville was like
I
a different
thought it was a place in Kentucky or wherever it is. It's Kentucky, right? No, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
I thought it was a place in Tennessee that I just knew nothing about. Because I want to say G-Unit came out when I was in 6th grade. I wanted the G-Units. There was this rich Asian girl that had them. So I'm like, oh, you got the G-Units. Let me see them in person. Because, you know, nobody was buying their kids $200 shoes back then.
Yeah.
So I was like really infatuated with the G Unit, and like I signed like the game mostly, and I signed my yearbook Games Girl. I still have it.
Games Girl.
Yes, it's my 8th grade yearbook.
It's never too late, by the way.
Yeah.
And now that like
Jason's
I know
around.
Games,
He's still
like,
outside.
now that like I see him and like I cross paths with him indirectly, I don't know him. It just makes me laugh because I'm like, damn, I've been involved but not involved since a kid with the music shit. But yeah.
So one of my favorite game stories, and this kind of dovetails into kind of, each of us has our own thing that we're bringing to it. I've been a journalist for too long. I forget how many years, but one time when the LA Weekly used to exist, I did a game cover. So I spent like a lot of time with the game for like a period of a month. Yeah. And I like the game. I think he's like there's like, you can pick some flaws of things that he's done.
You do some questionable shit.
I'm generally pro game.
White ceiling.
I'm pro game. I'm pro game. Let that be clear. Yeah. Like,
I'm pro game, but
no, so in the course of the interview, like at one point, do you remember like he like had his fans like call the sheriff's department to like flood the thing, and the sheriffs like investigated him, and he was like almost charged with something. Anyways, he did this in the middle of like the interview.
Wow.
And we're rolling around with game, and it's cool, and like this is gonna be lost, I think, on everybody listening to this, but for some reason I decided that there's like a famous play by Arthur Miller called Death of a Salesman, and it's about this character named Willie Loman, who's like always just like trying to make a sale, and it's kind of like a little bit of a sad situation. Anyways, Game was like his 4th album, so I somehow made it Death of a Salesman themed. I don't know. Somebody should have edited me, honestly. It was like, why are you letting me do this?
Right.
But
So
now,
the 4th album, just for reference, that was the Red album?
it was the Red album, and it was the one Martians. It was actually a
Martians and
solid album.
Goblins.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a
that was
solid
good.
album. Yeah, but like the LA Weekly had the worst artistic director ever. He was so stupid, and like so was the Red album. So all he had to do for the cover in my mind was like just have Game in like a red casket and a red suit, and it would have been the hardest cover ever. Instead, this motherfucker gets him painted in gold. It's like with all these like naked girls painted in gold on the cover.
hell?
And you're like, bro, it's called the Red Album. Why is he in gold?
Right.
Yeah, why is he in gold?
The article comes out.
It must have been around the time Goldmember was popular.
Totally.
It just came out on DVD. I don't know.
Yeah,
Gold hit
totally.
a whole
It was
like
Austin
time.
Powers
It had
themed.
its time.
Yeah. And then, so I'm like, the article comes out. I don't really hear from Game. I'm like on La Brea, by the Union Store. Union Store, shout out,
Shout out my boy, Doughboy.
Yeah, and we're by the Union Store. I'm like walking down the street, and I hear a car honking at me on La Brea. And I look, and it's a guy in a Range Rover, like all blacked out Range Rover. He rolls down the window, and it's Game, and he just looks at me and goes,
For those that don't know, so you flip somebody
Yeah,
off.
he just hit me with the bird. I was like, you gotta be
Why did he
pro
do
Game.
it that way?
I don't know, it's so funny.
He could have just been like this.
It's
You know
so
when I
funny.
learned that was on FIFA. When my brother used to play FIFA, that was one of the things they used to do.
Like
I think he was
emote?
just being funny.
Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Hopefully he doesn't hate me, so if Game is not gonna watch this, but if
Yeah.
he does, hit up
He
free.
might.
If he does, hit up free.
That is,
She was Game's girl.
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.